I'll just go straight to the summary of what has been done. But before I do that, I'd want you to know that we started distributing ballot papers on 1st of August at around 12 o'clock. As you can remember, on the 7th, receiving from our printers in Greece, and we decided to start distributing them. We have contracted Postal Corporation of Kenya to do the distribution of all materials, both ballot papers and other election materials, to the field. As we are talking today, most of all 90%, that is ballot boxes and all those other materials, 90% of them have already been distributed to the various constituencies in the country, and they are being received there by our returning officers at the constituencies. And that exercise has been going on. So as of now, we have not distributed any presidential ballot papers, and you are still receiving. The last bunch is supposed to arrive this evening. This morning, we received about 916 pallets at around 5 o'clock in the morning, and you are receiving another plane load of pallets that is coming at 5 o'clock this evening and will be received here as well. We have distributed 364 pallets of governors' ballot papers at the constituencies. We have distributed 368 pallets of senator ballot papers. The women rep, we have distributed 410. Member of Parliament, 439 pallets. County Assembly member, 472. The total number of pallets distributed so far is 2,053. And these cover 35 counties and 216 constituencies. I'll just mention where those materials have gone to in the county in terms of counties. Mombasa, we have sent to Shangamwe, Jomvu, Kisauni, Nyari, Likoni and Muvita. Kwale, Msabweni, Lungalunga, Matuga, Kinango. I think this is a long list, so I was just going to read the counties. We have sent some to Kilifi, Tana River, Lamu, Taita Taveta, Garissa, Wajir, Mandela, Marsabit, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kitui, Kiambu, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Machakos, then we have Nyandarua, then we have Kirinyaga, yes, Vihiga, Bungoma, then you have Busia, Siaya, Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, Narok, Kajiado, Kericho, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii. Those are the areas where some of the ballot materials have already been dispatched to. We still have, so far, we have distributed about 60% of the ballot papers that have been received here. And you are continuing to do this exercise. And our last day to make sure they get to the place is on 6th. All the materials will have reached all to their destination. I think so. I think that is the status of the distribution of ballot papers. And if there is any question, we'll entertain a few questions from you.
A ballot contains how many ballot papers so that we are able to know?
Okay, the normal size of a ballot will carry about 54 boxes. 54 boxes. However, depending on the number of registered voters in a particular place, some ballots are smaller than others, but we consider them as ballots as well. Yeah. Yes?
My question is, will Form 34A be pinned at the entrance of the polling station, and how will this be done?
Form?
34A.
Copy.
Yes.
A copy of the Form 34A. Yes, it will be pinned at the polling station, and we agreed with the political parties, because we are going to distribute, particularly in the areas where all the presidential candidates have an agent. We will not have an extra Form 34A. So IEBC will look for a way of getting a photocopy of the original, which they have taken, and pin it at the polling station. However, in areas where all the presidential candidates do not have agents, we shall have a copy of the carbonated copy to be pinned at the door of the polling station.
A follow-up. According to your reply to Azimio in today's publication, you take a photo of that form. So then after that, it means that that photo that has been taken must be printed. Have you supplied printers to those areas where this will be done?
I think we want to say that that's the responsibility of IBC to look for how it is going to get a copy and pin it. And that is what we agreed with the political parties.
And their copies.
Yes. And you shall be able to do that.
So has that process kicked off?
It is not going to kick off. It's going to kick off after we have counted.
Election.
Form 34A is done after we have counted the votes, entered the form, candidates, agency registered, our officials signed the form. Once that is done, that is the time that process will kick off.
That's the time you look for printers.
We have printers in every county and in every constituency. We have printers and photocopiers. Yes.
Well, my question is not Nepal of the Lake from Cash. My question is not related to the distribution.
I'm going to ask you to answer some now. Yes?
Yesterday we saw the government through the Ministry of Interior deploy security officers to various parts of this country, and it was more specific and heavy on two counties, Nakuru and Western Issue. The purpose of your press briefing every day is to at least to show the transparency. However, in the few days that have gone, we've seen how politicians have conducted themselves, specifically the presidential candidates. Tension has been rising, including the leaflets of threat leaflets that have been lost. There are three concerns that generally maybe we journalists and even their stakeholders, the nation, might not have received a substantial response from your end. One, when the first batch of the ballot papers arrived, there was a concern that some commissioners were not aware. We put that question before you. And then again came the Venezuela thing. The commission exchanged letters of concern with the DCI. Eventually, the response that came from the commission was, we have just sorted that. But the Kenyans who read the letters were not availed with exact agreement or how that was solved, especially the parties that were arrested. The IEBC, or does IEBC still confirm that these were their people, they were partners, and when the solution was reached, was it that these people were deported back or they remained in office as part of your partners? And the most recent concern is the clip that we brought to your attention, Madam Commissioner, from the Bomas, that of Junet Mohammed, and you say it is being investigated. To us, this could be so critical that it can be building a case for null and void after the process. How do you respond to these details as you help the nation do away with the tension?
Okay, let me respond to one, she will respond to the other, and maybe she can also respond to the other. First and foremost, we are not revisiting the issue of the DCI and the Commission. The matter is sorted, and you are working together towards the security and the transparency in delivering the election. That is okay. The issue of deployment of security in certain areas, that is to facilitate the election. And the IG himself confirmed that we are working together. It is the responsibility of the security arms of this government to monitor what is happening in any area of this country and they decide what level of security is required there. It is not the work of IEBC. So we will not be able to answer the details of that question. But we are supposed to deliver election in a free and secure manner. I think I would want Madam Vice Chair to respond to something which you have said.
Okay. For the clip that you talked about, I think it was on Monday. Yes, as a communication department of IEBC, we monitor what is being thrown in the social media and we classify them accordingly. So some of those clips needs to be investigated, and that is it. So for now, I don't have more information about that clip for Junet, but indeed, as IEBC, we flag out everything that is being thrown on social media. And on Monday, I said something very important, that for us, IEBC, any communication that is coming from us is from us or from the chairman of IEBC, who is the spokesperson of the commission. Then we are also heavy on our social media pages. We are heavy on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So kindly, Kenyans, get information that is legit from IEBC pages and from us, the commissioners or our chair. Thank you.
Yes, I want to add on the issue of security. Remember, we are partnering with other government institutions. One of them is the security team through the IG. IG is providing 2 police officers per polling station. And remember, we have 46,223 polling stations. So you say times 2. And then there are those escorting materials also. We have trained these officers and we request, and we cannot do this work alone. The officers we require are those who will be within the polling station and the marked area. But remember, the government also has to see security outside the marked area of the polling station. And that's the mandate of Inspector of Police. So where there are concerns anywhere in this country, that's their mandate and they are supposed to look at that. But that's a question which IEBC cannot answer. That will be answered by Commissioner of Police. On ballot papers, that some commissioners were not aware, everyone of us who were aware about the arrival, That's why you saw some of us in the airport. You've seen some of us have gone to Venezuela. So we are aware, all of us, and we are working together as a team. Chris. And on the issue of Venezuela, that one we sorted out. Everything is with us. We've done our work. So, and we had a meeting with the IG, which you were present, and I think you were briefed accordingly. Thank you.
Yes. Another question? Yes.
What is the value of the contract that you have supposed to deliver the election materials?
Harry, the technical people who... This is our director of supply chain. He can answer that.
Thank you very much for that question. We are estimating the value to be about 700 million. However, we are treating that as and when, because we cannot estimate exactly how many pallets will be going to what destination until when we do the very last consignment. That is when we will be able to know, but we are estimating the value to be about 700 million. Thank you.
And to add to that, one of the other reasons how we cannot be able to give a specific amount as of now, we may require to airlift some materials in some of the areas, depending on the security situation and the weather situation. So that is basically what we are talking about, some of the reasons why. But just a minute.
Okay, there is something that has been circulating about how to mark a ballot paper, and different teams are advising each other wrongly. So I want to take this opportunity so that Kenyans are informed how to mark a ballot paper, so that your vote is valid and so that your vote is not thrown out but becomes a valid vote. So with this, allow me to call upon Joyce Ekwam to come and just brief the country a little bit on that aspect. Joyce.
Thank you so much. We have received information, even in social media, on fallacious information around marking of the ballot paper. And as the citadel of electoral information that is credible, we would want to take this opportunity to clarify on how to mark a ballot paper correctly. There are marks that are allowable in law to validate a ballot, and one of those is a tick. So a voter can use a tick. The other mark is an X. The other one is a dot. And those who are unable to read or write can use a thumb print. So those are the marks allowable by law. And we ask the voters to use only one mark on each of those 6 ballot papers that you will be given at the polling station. Remember, the voter is the most valuable guest in the polling stations, and therefore we would want to urge them to take their time during marking of the ballot, so that their effort to wake up early in the morning on the 9th does not go to waste by marking a ballot paper wrongly. So the information is use one mark on each of the ballot papers given. If per candidate, if a voter uses more than one mark per elective position, for example, the presidential ballot paper, and that voter uses more than 2 marks, either a tick, for example, or an X, that ballot will be a rejected ballot. And the effort for that voter will be wasted by queuing, by forfeiting other things, and to come to the balloting on that day. So we urge the voters to be patient when they reach the polling booth It's your time, it's your decision. And we ask the voter as the most important person on that day to take their time. Use one mark per each of the 6 ballot papers given. That way, you'll have stated firmly your position and your preferred candidate for each of those elective positions. So this is the source of the credible electoral information as IEBC, and we are really going to respect the decision of the voter, but be patient in marking the ballot paper, because that is the time the Kenyan voter will be giving their verdict on who they would want to be led by. Thank you so much.
Yes?
I think it would be very important to make clarification, because the CEO, Majan, made it clear that there was some information that did not get quite clear from the company that you awarded the tender that presently
What?
on record that it was clearly shared with the executive director.
What are you saying? What is your question?
The question is, did the procurement manager carry his background check on this mathematics company and shared with the CEO?
I think we have physically visited the company. The company for printing the ballot papers that we are talking about.
Yes.
And we have physically and identified. And I want to tell Kenyans that company, Info Lycos, is among the top world security printers. So we have nothing to worry about. Yes, you had a question. Yes.
Have you faced any challenges in transportation of
So far we have not had any challenge in the transportation, because the materials are reaching at the destination, and our returning officers in the field are receiving them whenever they get, and they are being taken to our warehouse either at the county or at the constituency. Yeah, so this process is going to go on. We shall keep briefing you as we go on. Thank you. One more, okay, 2 more, US and US. You can answer them together. Yeah?
My name is William from TV47. The question in terms of logistics, how many trucks are you using to transport ballot papers, and also some of the areas that you're going to ballot papers, which are some of these areas that you're going to?
Okay, that is one.
My name is Oscar from Kameme TV. We have generators for areas where power production is an issue, and number 2, what is the limit number of registered voters per polling station?
Okay, the maximum number of registered voters per polling station is 700. However, the maximum number in every polling station is 700. However, depending on how many people have registered in a center, you could have them varying from 700 downwards to any other number. We have also printed equal number of ballot papers per polling stations. That means if your polling station has 350 registered voters, we have only printed 350 ballot papers per position, for every elective position, which means, and that is bound in one book. For example, for presidential is one booklet, ballot book, senator, and all, like for the 6 position. So every polling stations will have enough ballot papers for all the positions equal to the number of people registered in that polling station. You asked about the logistic in those areas. Mandela, Turkana, and Lamu. Those are some of the areas we are lifting, because these materials are being escorted by the security. And when they get to the warehouse, they are also guarded 24 hours by security. So these areas is whereby it may be difficult going by road because of the security situation in that area to deliver the materials by road. That is why we have opted for that kind of a facility. Yes. Generators, we have generators?
Yes.
I know. We have generator in every center.
Yes. And solar lamps.
And the solar lamps
Rechargeable.
in every polling station. And solar lamps, and we have gas lamps as well.
Correct.
Yes, in all the polling stations. I start by solar lamp and the 2 gas lamps per polling station. Yes, just in case. Yeah? When do we schedule to? On 5th. We were distributing them from 5th. Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. Tuonane siku ingine, maybe on the other side now. Thank you.
They are being loaded and all that.